Greetings, fellow seekers of truth, wisdom, and light. This is Reverend Eliot, your friendly neighborhood esoteric practitioner, coming to you live from the city of New York. In case that a little bit of dead air, you probably heard me anyway. I was sneezing. I've been sneezing for the last couple of days, and I either have a cold or I'm allergic to Armageddon. I don't know which one it is, but it may be a cold. It may be what do you call that stuff? Pollen. Eek, eek. Well, anyway, here we are. I finally made it back again for another week in a row. so I'm hoping to have a streak now and not miss any shows, because I missed a few shows recently. Oh, hideous lower back pain. Whoa, man, was that awful. And it's not really going to be, it's not an interesting show if all you hear is me screaming in agony. And no. Now, the thing is, there are certain painkillers that are really good, but, they're powerful, and they're controlled substances. I'll admit to that. And I do have prescriptions, so I'm not cheating. But they clog my nose. Now, is that fair? Is that a good trade-off, to be able to have no pain, but you can't breathe? That's that, and that's what this feels like. But that I haven't had pain in a while, so that's good. But something's going on that's clogging my nose, and I'd like to get to the bottom of it. I forgot to take an antihistamine, which is it's fine, because I would probably fall asleep anyway. But I am a man on a mission. Yes, I have my tarot cards right here, and I'm on a mission. And what is that mission, you ask? I'm here to prove that tarot is not Russian misinformation. It's real. There you go. That's one of the funny things. People come up to me sometimes, and they try, because when they find out who I am, and I'm out and about, and they'll try to give me a gotcha question. Say, you don't really believe in that tarot stuff, do you? I say, no, I don't. And they look at me in shock. Say, no, I don't believe in it. Do you believe in electricity? I say, well, no, I know electricity is real. It works. Yeah, see, same thing with me. I know tarot is real, and I know tarot works. I don't believe in it. I know. This is the kind of thing where people say, well, I'll believe in that if you can prove it to me. Well, then you don't need to believe in it. Then you know. But you can't. I defy anybody to. Well, I shouldn't go that far, because there's a couple of people in every group. There's over 300 and some odd shows of mine in the archives at AskOneRadio.com, and you can listen to those, and you'll hear that this stuff works. This stuff is real. But, of course, there are people who think I fake it. I make it up. And when I make the transition to video, and you can see the cards, and you'll see that I'm not making it up, then they'll say, well, he's manipulating the cards. People I have known for 30 years or more. People I've known for 40 years and know that I don't do card tricks, and I never have done card tricks. And I think that's a great buzzkill at a party, is card tricks. I won't do card tricks. Even, because I can't do card tricks anyway. But even if I could, I won't do them. I wouldn't do them. But they know I don't do card tricks. When I do this, they think I'm doing card tricks. I have no idea. If I could do that, if I could manipulate a pack of cards, you wouldn't see me for heel dust. I would be in Las Vegas, or at the very least Atlantic City. And they would know. They would watch me play, and they would know that I'm cheating somehow and break my legs. And then I'd limp right back here, and you'd welcome me back, a sadder but wiser man. But that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to be looking at the tarot cards so that we can see what's going on in our lives. And that's the beauty of it. Now, I made a little crack about Armageddon earlier. There's an interesting book. It's an old book, and we reissued it. It's called Ciphers of the Apocalypse, and it's I think it's at mojoacademy.org. It's listed there with the other books. But see, there goes my throat again. If it's not there, I'll put it up there. But I'll put it up at the Facebook page. And I want to give a special shout out to all my friends from Facebook who are listening in, because I know that people find out when the show is on through Facebook, either through my Facebook page or my regular page, or through Psychic Faces or Ask One Radio. There's thousands of followers there. And that's why I admire people who call and ask questions. The idea that they're willing to open up in front of millions of people and just speak. And that's nice. That takes courage, and I applaud all that. And that's I don't. People who do that deserve a good solid reading, and you'll always get that at the Ask One Radio Network, no matter what show you have. Once, once in maybe a little over 10 years, once I had somebody who was trying to put me on, and I read the card seriously for that person, and boy was he surprised. So you never know, but but everybody's been very good and kind and accepting. It's like the days when I started doing this. I offered my services at whatever party. There I go again. There's something in the air. I'm sure of it. At whatever price you could pay, whatever you wanted, I would do a reading. I'm still that way in a sense. I mean, I do have set prices. They're not gigantic for private readings, but I don't let that get in the way. If somebody wants to whittle that down a little bit, fine. I've actually had people pay more. They want to. That's why not? But in the times when I was just starting out and I offered my services, I'd do a reading and you pay me whatever you wanted. Nobody stiffed me but one person, and that person never contacted me again for anything, which is funny. It's like they were scared. But it's a pretty good record, because people told me I was crazy for doing that. But to be able to do scores and scores of readings and only have one person stiff me, that was pretty nice. It restored my faith in humanity for a little while anyway. So that's, I don't have any, for once, I don't have much to babble about before the show. That's really peculiar, Things are interesting here in New York. I mean, we're having very, very strange things going on with, busloads of people from Central and South America are arriving from the border. And they are arriving just a few blocks from where I am now. I'm right in the thick of it. I'm right in the thick of that. That's fascinating, because, New York advertised itself as a sanctuary city. I'm not going to go into the politics one way or the other about it, because that's not what this is about. And you can get that anywhere. You can hear that kind of stuff anywhere you go. It's nice to see how people react when you ask them to have the courage of their convictions. Sometimes it scares them. And I think we saw a perfect example of that with Martha's Vineyard. It's one thing. It's okay to plaster signs all over the place saying, "We welcome you. Come in, come in, come in." And then, "What the hell are you doing here?" when they get there, And then crying in tears, and get them out of there within 44 hours. So it's an interesting little experiment in human nature. Everybody is willing to have principles, but putting them in action is an important thing, I believe. And sometimes, just doing nothing is good too. But here we are. We are the city of New York. Our population has grown by a few thousand in the last few months, which, of course, it grows by about 6,000 every day down in Texas and Arizona and all that. So, hey, maybe that's the way it should be. Spread it around. Share the wealth, right? So, coming from the person who is right near where this is happening, I'll give you some reports from time to time if you want to know. But the funny thing is that for years, this New York advertised itself as a sanctuary city, which really essentially meant nobody reported a few illegal dishwashers. That was about it, really. Now they're being asked to put their principles to the test, and they're whining. So you get to know the measure of a person when they have to live up to what they promise. Sort of like getting married, When you say, "I do," oh boy, do you. You really, that opens up a whole new world for you, I assure you. As someone who's done it several times, I absolutely assure you. So now, hey, listen, let's do this. Let's get to the readings, because sometimes I short sheet the show. So let's go right to the readings. The first thing I'm going to do, as I usually do, is ring a bell 3 times so that we can get into sacred space. And aside from mentioning the ciphers of the apocalypse, I'm not going to be mentioning any products at all because you know where to find them. You know my website. I'll be mentioning that during the course of the show. But like I've been saying for the last few months, this is the time to be careful with your money. Really, because it's time for serious stuff. You know what's going on in the economy. So let's ring that bell 3 times to declare sacred space and pull back the window on the magical curtain. Sally in Victoria, Australia is on first. Hi, Sally. You're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. My voice a little gravelly for some reason, but I'm doing okay. How are you?
Not too bad. It's very wet here, actually. We're experiencing a few floods at the moment.
Oh, no. What's how bad is that?
Look, today is currently going to be the worst day, so, but it's okay. It's okay where I am at this stage.
Good.
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know, there's the forces of nature. You can't mess with those. They'll come for it. And water is worse than fire in many instances because water will keep going. And you know, you can put out a fire, you can't put out water. There's an old joke, by the way, about 2 guys lying on the beach in Miami, and they're 2 retired old men, and they're talking. One guy says, "So what are you doing here?" He said, "Well, I used to have a warehouse, and it caught fire. It burned to the ground, and I took the insurance money, and I retired, and here I am. And what are you doing here?" He said, "Well, you know, I had a business, and it got flooded, and I took the insurance company, and I retired, and here I am." He says, "Oh, that's fascinating. Let me ask you one thing. How do you start a flood?" So there you go. That's the old businessman joke.
That's hilarious.
So, Sally, what can I look at for you tonight?
Actually, just a general reading for me. So anything that comes up would be fantastic.
Yes. Well, I'm seeing very good things. I'm seeing. Well, first of all, I should tell you the first card I have is the World, and that's a card of assured success. And that's really good. That's a very good thing, obviously. The 3 of Rods. Are you starting anything new in terms of a business or any kind of career move?
I did not long ago. I changed my career at being at a school, and now I'm a support worker with autistic children. So, yeah, I took on my own business doing that.
Because sometimes this indicates a partner in the business working with somebody else. But it's a new business that it's not quite giving you the return yet that you wanted, but it will, is what it's saying. Because the next card is a good one. I like this a lot. It's the Empress. It shows me that you're a person who can make things grow. You can make things happen. And you're good with money. That's the next card I have is the 2 of Coins. That means you're good with money. That's a person who's juggling money to, work with. You know how to work with credit. You know how to make a little money last into bigger money and grow that. There's, again, I don't want to sound like a Borscht Belt comic here, but there's another old joke about how do you make a small fortune in the restaurant business? You start with a large fortune. So you see, but the person. The person who has the 2 of Coins knows how to balance money and juggle money and get things done. And that's so between the Empress card, which is the woman who is very creative and has a fertile touch and can make things grow. And this is a practical card, the Coins. That shows me that you got all the bases covered, and whatever you want to do, you're going to succeed at it.
Oh,
Floods
that's
notwithstanding.
Awesome. Thank you.
So it looks good. Well, these are your cards, In fact, I have one last card here. It's the 10 of Cups. That's perfected happiness. That's joy and beauty and everything, family and health and growth. And it's all kinds of wonderful stuff. So I think you're going to be okay. I think you've got a good future ahead of you here. You're on a good path.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I'm very blessed in my life, to be honest. So, yeah, very happy.
Beautiful. Is there anything else you want to look at?
No, that's about it. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for calling, and stay dry.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now. And let's shuffle up the cards. You're listening to Reverend Eliot's Magical Window. We get together every Wednesday at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific to look through the magical window of the tarot. And now we're going to one of my favorite places in the world, and I've never been there, but I might as well have been there because of all the bourbon I've had in my system. Shelley in Mayfield, Kentucky. I've got to get to Kentucky one day. How you doing, Shelley?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, thanks. How's stuff in Kentucky today?
Well, it's funny you said bourbon. I work for a bourbon company.
Oh, beautiful. You know, this is, I'm just your typical New Yorker. I've only been out of town a few times. And every time I went out of town, I met New Yorkers wherever I went. And Kentucky seems to be the place I want to go to. I knew a guy,
It's a very
years ago.
peaceful place.
Yeah, there was a comedian here in New York who was, I guess he's been in L.A. writing for television for years, a wonderfully funny guy named Barry Berry. What a great name for a comic. And he used to talk about Kentucky being the bluegrass state because he said, that's what I did all day when I was there. I bluegrass. And he was very relaxed.
We did do that when we were kids.
Yeah, right? We were all young once, weren't we?
It makes a whistle noise.
Yeah. Oh, that too. Yeah.
So,
I forgot about that. I haven't thought of taking a blade of grass and making a whistle. He had a different kind of grass.
And making a whistle out of it.
Yeah. So what can I look at for you in the cards?
Oh, no, I wasn't thinking that. Oh,
No.
my, yeah.
What can I look at in the cards for you?
My question is, I have a boyfriend, John, and I would like to know if he's deceiving me, or he says he's committed and he wants to marry me, but I would like to know if he's the one or will it be someone else?
Well, first of all, the very first card I've got, I drew, is the 10 of Cups, and that is about a happy family and a happy home. So that's good. That's a very good sign. Cups are about relationship and emotions, and this is the happiest of all of them. Has he had a bad experience in a relationship recently, or before you two got together? Which
he's had several before us.
Yeah, and you know something, that's kind of a silly
two.
question. Yeah, but I just realized as I was asking you that's kind of a silly question, because if he hadn't, he wouldn't be with you. You know, if he didn't have a relationship bust up, he wouldn't be with you now, right?
Right. He has had some difficult ones.
Okay, let me tell you why I ask you that. This is just a little temporary thing. This is just a blip, because the final card I have here is the Sun, which is health and happiness and growth and all the good stuff. In the middle, I have the 5 of Cups, which is a partial loss, and the 9 of Swords, which is sadness. I think, and you may be sensing this, or you wouldn't be asking me a question about him, right? He's still a little upset inside about a previous relationship.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing. But I'm also seeing that you're going to overcome that.
I hope so. He kept going by his ex-girlfriend's house while we were together 3 different times, or her apartment 3 different times. When we were we've been going together about a year, and he went past her house like 3 times when we were going together, and also just recently he told me he goes by to check on her.
But this is what I'm seeing, that this is why I asked you that question, because I'm seeing that the 5 of Cups is an interesting card for this, and this is why there's hope here. The person is looking at 3 spilled cups and is preoccupied with that. That's the loss. But there are 2 other cups behind him which are fine. And at some point, the person on that card is going to turn around and see that and will stop being upset about the other thing. See, this is not what I'm not getting. I'm not getting an indication that you're being lied to. I'm not getting any indication that you're being deceived. All I'm seeing here is that there's a great potential for a fabulous relationship here, but he's still a little hung up on one of the previous relationships. And it's just something in the back of his
Yeah.
mind that he just has to get over that. But again, what I'm seeing is I have the world, which is that card I had earlier of assured success for somebody else. You're going to get him over that. It'll happen. The sun is here. That's a card of growth and health and healing. The Queen of Cups, that's a very good sign. You're going to move him into the direction you want him to go in. And he wants that. I don't think that he's cheating on you at all. I don't see anything like that. I just see
Yeah, he says he loves
that
me.
and I see no reason to doubt that. What I'm just seeing is that, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a clean way to say this, but Lenny Bruce, I'm thinking of a clean way of quoting Lenny Bruce. That in itself is ridiculous. But I guess this is comedy night on Reverend Eliot's Magical Window. But there'll be two singers and then you, right? That's what I keep hearing in the back of my mind. Lenny Bruce said, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. You could be the Pope, he said. Every guy has that one woman who really broke him apart, And that's a woman that's hard to get over for a lot of guys. And this is, I mean, I'll give you an example. I knew a guy who had one of the worst marriages I ever saw in my life. And when they finally got divorced, I mean, it was so bad. I was at the wedding, and after they were married, I said to him, "Congratulations on your first marriage." Okay, that was, he wasn't happy about that, but years later he understood. Now, this was a hideous thing. And he eventually was married to somebody else, and he had a family, and they lived happily ever after, etc. But he used to now and then say to me, I still think of those kids I could have had with that other woman, those cute little red-headed, freckled kids, So, it never left him. Now, that's an obsession, and in many ways, that's a cop-out. A lot of guys will do that. They'll stay hung up on a woman from the past to avoid dealing with what's going on now. I'm not getting any of that indication from these cards. I just think this is for him, that thing that Lenny Bruce was talking about, and I really did clean that one up. This is the one woman who really busted him up. And and it still hurts.
Right.
But that doesn't have anything to do with you. You know what I mean? It's not a reflection on you, and it has nothing to do with how he feels about you. It's there, and it's hard to get rid of that. And it's not like I'm looking again. This person had a hold on him that was not healthy. Okay, I'm telling you that now.
Yeah,
and
I get it.
You feel that too, right? You know what I'm talking about. And I tell you what, I got the devil card, which is not about Satan or anything. It's about a very powerful, persuasive, attractive person who is dangerous to be around. You can do very well with people like that, but they will eventually use you for their purposes. And what's telling is on many tarot decks, including the one I'm using now, there's a block of cement that the devil is sitting on, and there's a man and a woman chained to that block of cement, you see? So he's still a little bit chained to the memory of what happened. It's just not gone yet, but it's not diminishing how he feels about you, is what I see.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds great.
I think you just being you.
Right. That's all I needed.
The cards show me that you'll get him through this, okay?
That's good. I hope so. Well, thank you.
I'm sure you'll do it. Thank you for calling. Bye-bye now. And we'll shuffle up the cards. As I said, you're listening to Reverend Eliot's Magical Window. If you want to know more about what I do, I use Reverend Eliot because my last name. If I were to use my full name, it sounds ridiculous. Because I've got like 5 or 6 names. I don't even remember at this point. And that's even, you add one if I go by, if I use the Mexican tradition of my father, and I attach my mother's last name to my last name, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names. And it's nice, but it looks ridiculous on business cards. It's not a good idea to put a 6-barreled name on a business card, because then you're going to have to hand it to somebody with a magnifying glass. But Reverend Eliot suited me fine. I hadn't given it any thought until I did this and started doing this 10 years ago. And my last name is a little hard to pronounce. So people never got it right in my performing days, so I had shortened it. Anyway, Reverend Eliot's Magical Window. If you want to know more about what I do, my website is magic-works.com, magick-works.com. You know, I left a comment at the New York Times. I do frequent commenting at the New York Times. Why, I don't know, but I do. And I always put a link to my blog. And every now and then somebody tries to attack me. They say, do you know that you're a tarot reader? I said, gee, I'm really shocked. You know, I'll respond. So one guy said, in response to my rather cogent comment on a particular subject of interest, that I don't trust occult practitioners who use magic with a K at the end. And I explained very patiently, and they printed my response. And if he had a response, they sure didn't print it. I asked him a question. Yeah, I said, we do that. We spell magic, M-A-G-I-C-K, magic practitioners, to differentiate that from stage magic, prestidigitation. This is not about pulling a rabbit out of a hat or having an endless handkerchief coming out of your left nostril. No, this is different kind of magic altogether, and we add the CK to make it so. And then I gave him an invitation. I said, and perhaps you would like to explain to the readers, take this opportunity to explain to your fellow New York Times readers what it is about the First Amendment's freedom of religion that you so despise. Well, you know, that's... sometimes that sends people into orbit, and they write diatribes that get banned after that. But, you know, that's the way it goes. So that's my website is magic with a K, magick-works.com. And there's like 100 and something pages there. I didn't mean it to get that big, like Topsy. It growed. It just growed. All of you Uncle Tom aficionados will know what I'm talking about. There aren't many of us left. And by the way, Uncle Tom in Uncle Tom's Cabin is nothing like what we refer to as an Uncle Tom in life. That was done when the Uncle Tom's Cabin was, I don't know why I'm veering off into this now, but it's just one of those little popular culture things that irks me. Uncle Tom would took the most severe beatings from Simon Legree because he would not rat out anyone else. He wouldn't talk to, he wouldn't be used. He was an upright man. And yet, for some reason, he became a, well, you know what people mean when they refer to someone as an Uncle Tom. They're very odd, isn't it, how that happens? If you read Uncle Tom's Cabin, and I'm not recommending you do because that writing from that period is very difficult. It's like reading Pilgrim's Progress. If you had to read Pilgrim's Progress in school, my condolences. But it's just like Zane Grey. Now, those are wonderful westerns, the books of Zane Grey, but they're written in a very flowery style. And yet, when you're done, you have the most vivid impression of what you've read. It's a whole different kind of thing. We're more conversational in our literature for the last 100 years. So that may be a good thing. So anyway, magic-works.com, and I have like 100-odd pages there. It just growed like Topsy. That's what made me think of it, of Uncle Tom's Cabin. Was Topsy even in Uncle Tom's Cabin? Now I don't remember. I think Topsy was. Oh, brother, we're going far afield. Before I start reciting the Declaration of Independence, let's go to Michelle in Alabama. Hi, you're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I'm all right tonight.
Oh, well, maybe we can make that a little better. What would you like to look at?
Just about me and my grandchildren.
Okay, let's see. Is there some trouble going on in the family?
Yes.
Okay, because I've got a card here that's not a nice card. It's the Five of Swords, and that generally means somebody's making trouble for you. So if you had the feeling that there's somebody behind the scenes spreading gossip or making trouble, you're right. How's that? Is that what was on your mind?
Well, no, not really. I'm raising 2 grandchildren, and
well, because there's just somebody who's a problem behind the scenes, most likely. It's not as sneaky as some other cards, but it's well, good. This is the other one. This is the Seven of Swords. Shows a person tiptoeing around. Now, there's definitely somebody who's doesn't have your best interest at heart in this whole situation. So be careful, okay?
Okay.
I'm not seeing they're going to be successful at this, and people like this usually try for a little while and then move on to something else. But there's two cards that show this kind of thing, and you just got both of them. Now, the good news is the next card is the Sun, which is a card of healing and growth and health and happiness. So I don't think they're going to have any effect on you. You know, these first two cards have dark clouds on them. They're gloomy. They're just really gloomy cards. But you got the Sun here, so that's good. I think you're going to come out of this fine. In fact, this is the third time now I think I've got a card for a happy home, too. This time it's the Four of Rods. So you'll be all right. Just be a little alert that somebody in the family or someone around you doesn't have your best interest at heart and is, maybe a little gossipy or causing problems, okay?
Can you tell if it's male or female?
No, I really can't do that. I'm not refusing you. I just can't. You know what I mean? I
do.
Let me just see if I get any indication. No, I'm just seeing that I'm just seeing that it's going to work out fine. The reading starts with those two cards and it ends with very happy cards, including the Judgment card, which is about a person getting what they've earned and what they deserve and things working out well and rebirth. And you got all happy cards here, except, you know what it is? It could just be there's some people who are not really happy about what's going on. And you're going to do just fine. And sometimes the worst thing you can do for some people is to be happy and successful. You know that.
Oh, yes, definitely. No, I've just acquired, they've lived with me since
grandchildren
they came in this world, basically. But their dad's kind of out of the picture for a while.
Okay.
And
you don't need to go into any details you don't wish to. But I'm just saying I'm seeing very good cards, except that there's some people who are not happy about this, but you'll be fine. You know what I mean? Look, you can't please everybody. How's that?
Well, I've never been one to do that.
Excellent. Just excellent. So keep it up because you're on a very good path here and it's going to work out well for you. Okay.
All right. And one of the grandchildren has ADHD, and I'm taking him to get different kinds of help. Do you see something good for him? Is he going to get better?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because I have the Seven of Rods here, and that's a card that relates to you, because it's a person who knows how to deal with problems and sweep away all obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
Okay.
You're going to take care. You're going to really take care of these children, according to this. The Seven of Rods shows a person who's doing a difficult job and is in a higher ground and is in a position to sweep away everybody with their stick. In the card.
Okay.
With the rod. So yeah, you're a problem solver. So you'll get there, and so you're gonna. It's fine. In fact, the Ace of Cups is here, and that's a card of great happiness and joy.
I just have a heavy load on my shoulders right now, and
yes, you do. Yes, you sure do. And
make sure.
And the one thing that I can tell you from
wrong.
No, the cards are good here. The cards are also saying be as careful as you can with money. Okay.
Yes.
And these days,
Will do.
you don't have to tell that to people, really, don't you know? But it's here. It's the Four of Coins, and that is about a person who's very wise with the money and may seem tight-fisted, but knows how to stretch that dollar. Okay. Here's the one last card is the Six of Rods. It's a card of great success and triumph. You're going to do fine.
Okay, great.
Thanks for calling.
That sounds awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye now. And that's a good reading. You can't. There's so rarely negativity in these readings that when it shows up and it's so obvious like this, it's just. And what I like about it is that the cards were also going out of their way to say that this is not going to be a problem for you. Sometimes we run into people who are very negative about our lives, and that's their problem. That's not your problem. That's their problem. And we've all been there. Jill in Aurora, Illinois is next. Hi, you're on with Reverend Eliot.
Hello.
Hi, how are you tonight, Jill?
Fine, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. Glad to be on. What can I look at for you?
Come in to see if there's any messages from husband.
It's somebody who passed recently.
Correct.
Okay, let's see. Well, I have one of the cards that I look for when doing this is here. It's the Hermit card, which shows a person with sending a message because they're holding a light and leading the way. And then, as seems to be always the case with these things, I got a lot of positive, happy cards here. If there's anyone you have in mind in particular, which you don't have to give us any more information than you want to, I've got the Ten of Cups, which is happiness, and the Fool, which is a person who's the beloved of God, which is great. The High Priestess is here. That's another card I look for to verify an afterlife reading, which is a person who can see behind the veil. The person you're looking at is found peace and happiness where the soul is now. That's the message I'm getting. And it's amazing how often I get that message.
Yeah, there better be a peace.
Well, it was a rough time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it isn't anymore, and that's the message from this person is that there's a hint of being with other family members, ancestors, things like that, you know. So the spirit, I mean, I have cards of trouble. I have cards of really big trouble here before. But afterwards is the spirit is at rest and the spirit is growing and the spirit is learning. And that's the message to you. Okay? Is there anything else you want to look at?
I just want to know what there's going to be with the position that I'm in right now.
I didn't quite catch all that. It was breaking up.
I was just wondering about my position that I'm at right now. Where am I going to be in 10 years? Is it be in the same job, or am I going to be somewhere else?
Oh, okay. Let's see what we get here. That's an interesting question. Let's see. 10 years is such a long time, though. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, well, I hope I'll be alive.
Well, you'd probably be a different person in 10 years, you know. So who knows?
Yeah.
Let's see what we have here. Well, there's changes coming in terms of work and career. The Ace of Rods indicates that. The Ten of Coins is about money coming in and doing well. Changes are coming soon. That's the Eight of Rods. The Page of Rods means that's like the Ace of Rods, but it's real. It's the Ace of Rods is theoretical. The Page of Rods, it's here. It's real. There's new work coming your way. Something new in your career is coming, and you'll do well at it too.
Good.
There's good money there.
Good.
Okay, so that's and it's not going to take 10 years. It's going to be sooner than you expect.
Okay,
Here's another
good.
one. This is the Three of Coins. That's another one. That's about starting a new position, a new job. Sometimes it's a temporary job, but it leads to other things with the three. There'll be a new job or a new assignment within a job, and you'll complete the task, and you'll be recognized for having done very well. Yes, there are changes coming your way in terms of work.
Okay, because I think the one had already transpired, because now they've moved me from doing 60, 89-day collections on car loans onto doing the repos. So
Yeah, well,
I think that's
I see you doing well at whatever they hand you. How's that? That looks
very
good.
good.
There will be some competition where you are. That's the Five of Rods, but don't sweat it. You'll get through that. You'll be fine.
Okay. All right, good. I appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to have you listening, and thanks for calling in. Bye-bye now.
All right, God bless you guys. Bye-bye.
And let's see. Let's shuffle up the cards again, and let's see. Okay. You're listening to Reverend Eliot's Magical Window, where I lost my train of thought for a second there. I got derailed on the train of life, train of thought. Joanna in Indianapolis is next. Hi, Joanna. You're on with Reverend Eliot. Hi. How are you doing tonight, Joanna?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing well. What can I look at for you? Maybe we can Make it a little better than just okay.
Well.
Oh, that sounds like that sounds like a challenge. That laugh.
Yeah, sure, certainly is. So, I either career or love.
Well, some people, that's the same thing. But, that we won't get into. I live near the Times Square area, so we know what that's famous for. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what comes up.
Sure. Last time I was on with you, we talked about an intermediate step, and I haven't been able to figure out what that step is. So it's kind of stymied.
In terms of love, did you have a relationship that didn't work out recently?
Yeah.
Because I've got the Three of Swords, and that's what that is. That shows a heart pierced with swords, and the heart is crying, and that's not good. But the next card is the Nine of Coins, which is a person who can be comfortable in a solitary way. It doesn't mean you're never going to be in another relationship. It just means you're not going to panic and you must be in another one. That you can be pretty comfortable with yourself. You can be at one with yourself. So that's good. But this was not a very good relationship, was it?
No, we loved each other a lot, but we were like oil and water. Yeah,
well, tell me about it. I've been there. Who hasn't, right? And anybody hasn't, they're lucky, because those are the ones that hurt the most. I mean, when you're just totally not compatible, you can let go, right? But when there's good stuff and it doesn't work out, it can hurt. And I see that it was that breakup was painful, but
yeah, I'm starting to come out of it, but there's just there's a longing there.
Well, let me tell you something. I have several cards here that indicate a new relationship is coming. And it's going to be happy, and it could lead to marriage. And
that's what I'm in it for.
Yeah, it's because I have the Hierophant here, and that's a card of religious authority. And when people ask about the anything romantic, and that shows up, that means marriage. And this is the Ten of Cups is a happy home. I've had that several times today. The Knight of Cups is the beginning of something, of a romance, and the Page of Cups is the solidifying of it. So there's something, and it's interesting because half these cards here that I got for you are cup cards, and cups are about romance and relationships. So yes, it's coming. You just need to get over that card, which is the Three of Swords, which is about the heartbreak. And you will. According to this, you will, because you're not going to be dwelling on it. And keep an eye out for something new coming. Let me see if I can get you any more details on that.
Yeah, details are great.
Well, here's another cup card, and that's a good one. It's the Three of Cups, and in the context of a relationship, that indicates that it's somebody you'll meet through people you know. So so keep an eye out among the people you know. Even if there's maybe that rabid person who's always trying to fix you up with somebody, but they may have something this time. But that's where it's coming from. Let's see, what else do we have here? Success, just this is good. These are all cards of success. So this is going to make up for the bad relationship. It looks very, very promising and very good. And as I said, with the Hierophant there, it's really a good sign that there's marriage in the future here. Okay?
Okay, that's perfect, because every time I go into a relationship, I expect it to be the last one. So good news.
Well, you never know. I mean, I went into a new relationship in 1985, and I'm still in it. So it happens. And I had been in a marriage that went south in 82, and by 85, I got roped in again. But this time it lasted, and we're still together. In fact, the symbol of this whole thing is I have a sourdough starter that I use for making bread, which I made. I started that in the summer of 1985, and we still have it. That's our offspring. It's a bunch of bacteria. It's yeast, right? But yeah, so you never know. I mean, but we still have it. It almost died once. I neglected it for a while, but we brought it back to life, and there it is. But you never know. You're right.
What a beautiful metaphor for relationships themselves.
Yeah, and sourdough. There's got to be some kind of thing in there, about that. But see, now we're just crotchety old people together, and it's just nice. It's an unexpected bonus. But there it is. So it's looking good. Let me see if I can find one more thing. Yes, the Wheel of Fortune is here. It means the situation you're in now is going to change, and it's going to change for the better. I got the World again. That's a card of assured success. So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a lovely reading. Thank you.
My pleasure. Let me know how it works out. I can be reached, and this goes for anybody listening. I keep forgetting to give my email out. It's Ask Tarot, AskTarot, asktarot@earthlink.net. And since this is a return reading, just why not drop me a line as things progress, and I'll pull a few cards for you. How's that?
Sure thing. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Wow, that's it. We've come to the end of another edition of Reverend Eliot's Magical Window, and I've got a little time here, so I thought that maybe I could tell you about a few things that are in the works, but I've got nothing in the works. I've got nothing out of the ordinary. As many of you have asked about my health, so I can tell you a little bit about that, because I had a problem a year ago in which I started to go blind. So maybe you'd care for an update on that, because when I do get into the video stuff, I don't want you to be too shocked when you see me with an eye patch, which is kind of a funny thing, because I'm an old guy, and I wander around. I mean, I knew I was getting old one day. I mean, I would go to the doctor for my annual checkup, and he'd say, you got to lose some weight. Every year, you got to lose some weight. You got to lose some weight. And then one year, I never lost any weight. And one year I went in, same weight, and he said, well, you're in pretty good shape for a fellow your age. And I knew I was in deep trouble. I'd hit that wall there. But the thing about being an old guy, and I'm in a neighborhood filled with younger people, and I'm not the oldest guy around. I mean, I have a friend in the neighborhood here who's 92 years old, and he gets out and walks all the time, and I run into him, and he's a wonderful actor. I guarantee you've seen him in a bunch of movies, and in the theater too. He's had a long, illustrious career. He's 92 years old, and it's just marvelous to see him out there. Well, here's the deal. Since I started to wear an eye patch, I'm getting young women stopping me on the street and propositioning me. And I'm not mean professionals, They just want to talk to me. I don't know what it means. I don't know why. I was walking by. Because we had you can look this up. I don't know if it happened in your city, but if you live in a city, and whether you're lucky or not, that's a whole different thing. We have dining sheds in the street now for people to use, because that took the place of going into a restaurant during the COVID lockdowns. And these were just lean-tos, in a sense. So one side was open. And they kept them. They're still there. The people still use them. They love them. And I remember I was walking by one a couple of weeks ago, and I heard this conversation where a woman said, gee, he's really cute. He looks interesting, which meant nothing to me. And then I heard a man say, you're just attracted by the eye patch. And then I knew it was me. So that's kind of bizarre, because I had to go blind in one eye in order to have women under 60 pay attention to me, which is not something I want, I might add. Like I said, I've been happily married since 1985, and we're, that's it's a Henny Youngman joke. I've been in love with the same beautiful woman for 30 years. My wife finds out, she'll kill me. But no, that's not it here. So I do have some pain now and then in the damaged eye. It's just a thing that happened. A blood clot hit one of the veins in my eye and killed it off. No reason for it. They told me that well over 90% of the time this happens, there's no reason. It just happens. And they I was examined by neurologists all up and down the block. I spent so much time lying on tables with MRIs and you name it. And this was a little over a year and a couple of months ago. And they found out that once I lost the use of one eye, the other eye, I noticed was damaged. I had blind spots there. I couldn't see it because the other eye filled them in. So we were able to stop the damage there. So I can still see, but and sometimes there is pain in the bad eye because the human body is a remarkable thing. It tries to repair itself. And the eyeball, it has been growing new veins inside of it to replace the one that went away. And that's not good necessarily. And sometimes they hurt like hell. And then I have to take heavily prescribed drugs that clog my nose, as I said. And so when I miss a show now and then, that's you can pretty much be assured that I was out of it with pain. But there are ways to deal with that in terms of meditation and occult work. I write about it a bit in my book about mind power. It's called Bending Spoons with Your Mind and Other Miracles of Mind Power, or some corny thing like that. I haven't looked at the cover in a while, but that's about how it goes. So yeah, people have asked me from time to time to update you. So yes, I'm still blind in one eye, and I always will be, and I look rather swashbuckling, and people give me wide berth on the street too. We keep hearing about crime in New York on the rise, and it's true, it is. But not in this neighborhood. I'm near the theater district, so we're heavily policed because a lot of tourists come here. And so we're okay. But people look at me, and I'll tell you something. We have a lot of homeless people here, and sometimes they just want to talk to you, and they're people. That's it, I've had some wonderful conversations with them. They'll come on a little strong and ask for money. And if you don't have it, you tell them why, and you tell them what you need, why you don't have the money, and then you chat for a while. Sometimes people dig that, and because that's easier. Money is easier to get than time. People will say, "Yeah, here's a couple of bucks. Here's a couple of bucks. Here, go. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone." Leave me alone. But to stand around for a few minutes and just chat with somebody, and if you haven't noticed, I'm a chatterbox. That can really be enlightening for people, and we are just talking about people. We are talking about human beings. Now, they may have mental problems, and I don't know which is the cart and which is the horse, because I know I'm hoping that I don't have particular mental problems, but if I found myself homeless and living on the street, you can bet your life I would develop mental problems pretty damn fast. But I don't see how you couldn't. But just remember, we are still people. And sometimes, sometimes people just want that human connection, and they like that you don't ignore them and blow them off. And that's communication, and we can all do that. And I'm not suggesting go up there and talk to deranged people on the street. Please don't do that. But if it comes your way and you feel comfortable, you can just say hi if they speak to you. Well, that's about it for now. I've given you an update on my eyeballs, and I've given you wonderful advice about how to do whatever the hell it was I was just talking about. So I'll see you again next week at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, and 8 Pacific. Till then, remember, time flies. It's up to you to be the navigator. Bye-bye now.